one of the big gaps we found was that companies in the UK, so this wasn't London, but UK, aren't using analytics as much as other countries. In fact, fall a little bit behind Germany, Asia, and the United States. So I found that also interesting. And in our roundtable today, we discussed perhaps it's not trusting data. Perhaps it's a cultural thing that, people in London are very creative and they go with their gut feel, maybe more than data. So I'd be curious, what do you guys think?
I'm not surprised to
think?
hear that. I don't know. I mean, it is a cultural thing. I mean, when you think of Germans, you think about precision engineering and getting everything exactly right. I don't know. In the UK, it's interesting, and maybe it has something to do that we're not next to these universities. I don't know. I'm listening to this book called In the Plex right now, which is the whole story of Google, and they were always about the numbers, but they were PhD students, so it just was part of the culture from the very beginning. I don't know. It's a good question, but I'm not surprised to hear it. What do you think?
I think data, is part of the DNA of a company. I don't think you can do data for one area and not data for another. So I'm surprised to hear that startups aren't using data, because I feel like that's just something you implement. And we've had guys on the show, Ometria and Go Squared, and it's super easy now to get good data. To get good data that you can understand, Google Analytics, So I'm surprised at startups. I can see maybe, a larger company that's not in the tech space maybe wouldn't have data because they've always made decisions on relationships.
So I'm wondering if it has to do with skills, to really be great at analytics, not just having data, but use analytics. You have to have really good quality data scientists, but you also have to have good storytellers, right? So if you think about it, if you just do the math and science piece, and you've got that math and science piece down, and you've got the analytics, you've got to tell a story with it to take it forward to your board or to your CEO. And I'm just wondering, again, back to the training, given it's more silo-based and not broad-based, is that maybe inhibiting the use of analytics? Or is it a trend in startups? So where we got, like we have Red Ant, we have Monetize who are using it, and others, using Watson Analytics and other tools. Is it maybe some of more established companies?
Yeah, I think the skill is for sure. I think it does take a dedicated person within sort of a company, even if it's a relatively small company, because again, it's in your DNA. So making decisions on a bit of data is probably a negative impact. You have to sort of make a story, right? And look at it from a bird's eye view and put together the data that matters, and then action, decisions based on your board or your CEO to actually use that data to make decisions. So
I think you need an analytic mind too. I mean, I think the CEO has to be either proven that way or been thinking that way. Because startups have been in London for hundreds of years, whether it's a merchant ship going off to get spices, but if you're not used to making decisions by the numbers.
And trust the data. It's like a GPS. You either trust it or you don't.
Or you don't.
In the middle, it doesn't work.
It's true. It's very true.
How can anybody sign up, publish an event, and start selling tickets in a matter of minutes? We love the notion of people gathering. We really thought about low friction. We want to be that cable TV of live experiences. We basically broke all the startup rules. It's fairly insane to go into a business venture with your fiance. My advice, to any 20-year-old or fledgling entrepreneur is to not listen to their parents. Do something really incredible.